Today you'll be doing a digital drawing of a mushroom. Start off by going to your Schoology course and then click where it says mushroom pencil drawing. This is a pencil drawing I made for this tutorial. Right click and do save image as. This is going to put it on your drive and it should just be named mushroom. Next, we're going to open it up in Chrome Canvas. So go to Chrome Canvas and click new from image, and then find the mushroom image that you saved. Open that up in Chrome Canvas. We're going to start by doing our line work layer. Set your size at 1 and set your opacity at 100 and make sure you've chosen the marker tool. We do our line work in black. The line work layer for your digital drawings will always be done first. This means that you should zoom way in to the pencil drawing, and you're outlining every pencil line, staying on top of the line as best you can. So what I'm doing here are these polka dots on the mushroom, and you can see that I'm moving really slowly because I've got to stay on top of the line. These wider lines, you should go in a back and forth motion. You can also up your size to like a 3 or a 4. The idea is that you want these wider lines to appear wider. So where the line is wide, you should not just be going over it one time. Part of your grade is based on, did you get the wider lines to look nice and wide and smooth? And are the thinner lines actually looking thinner and also smooth? The marker tool is the best tool to use to get this type of smooth line work. So when I'm going back and forth, I just did a polka dot with my size at 1, and now I'm going back to the wider area. So I put my size back up to like a 4. And I'm going in that back and forth motion to make sure that this line appears wide versus the other line that goes around the polka dot, which should be thin. So I move it back to a 1 every time that I'm changing where I'm outlining. When you do your major summative digital drawings for this unit, you're going to start in this same way. You'll be doing a pencil drawing in class and then bringing that pencil drawing into Chrome Canvas just like this and doing the line work as your first step before any color gets added. This is a little different. These are lines that start off wide and then they taper down to a point, kind of like a long skinny triangle. So you should start out by using the marker tool as far as you can go and then switching to the pen tool. I'm in the pen tool now. The pen tool can definitely get thinner, so it's great for those thin lines. So for the wide part of these long skinny triangles, I'm using marker. And then when it gets to the point where the line becomes too thin, I switch to pen, and that's how I'm able to get the point to be real skinny down there. So when you're doing this part in your own mushroom tutorial, you should switch between the two tools as well. All right, my line work is done. Expand the layers, and I turned off the initial pencil layer. Then zoom in and look for areas where you need to touch up. You can do that by selecting the eraser. I would bring the size down pretty small so that anywhere you see these little like jagged edges, you can use the eraser tool to clean that up. That's one way. You might also notice that you have to touch up the marker because it didn't cover. All right, add your next layer, and then you need to select the black line work layer and bring that to the top. You may have to select it with your trackpad. Sometimes it doesn't allow you to do it with a stylus. So it should go line work on top, empty layer next. This empty layer is going to be for your color. Select marker. You can put your size up, and it's red 500, just in your color palette. Okay, so you are going to add color in the top of the mushroom area, and you are not worried about the polka dots. If you make this mistake on the right, you've got to fix it. The black line work must be on top. Otherwise, like this, where I'm coloring, you will color over the black line work. So you've got to make sure that it's line work on top and that you've actually clicked on that empty layer. Right here, I've selected it. You have to actually click on it so that there's a little blue outline of the layer, and that means you're in the right spot. So I'm not worried about the white polka dots yet because I can do those later in white. So this is a much quicker way to do it. Just making sure that your black line work is on top so that when you're using the red, it just goes right underneath that black line work and you don't have to worry about going around each individual polka dot. So we can go on top of that later and make that white. So I've zoomed into these smaller areas. You can see I got out of the lines there. That means that you've got to bring down the size. If you can't fit in a space, then you've got to adjust the size of your marker. So I went ahead and adjusted the size of my marker, and that way I can fit between these two lines. When I'm coloring in these smaller areas, and when you should be in this very zoomed in view, just like I am. I'm zooming in really, really far so that I can see what I'm doing much better, and it helps you be a lot more precise. All right, the red is done, so we're going to choose a custom color for the mushroom stem. Type your custom color in the bottom where the hex number goes. The custom colors are listed in the assignment in Schoology. And now go ahead and color in the mushroom stem. This goes in the same layer as the red. All of your base colors go in the same layer. So there's your custom color again. Make sure that that's what you're using. And if you're in the right layer, when you're coloring, the color is going underneath the black line work. That's how you know that you're in the right spot. If you're coloring and the color is going on top of the black line work, then you know you're in the wrong layer or something is out of order. All right, stem is done. We're going to choose our next custom color, type it in this little hex box. Again, the custom colors are listed in the assignment in Schoology. And go ahead and color this underneath area of the mushroom where those long skinny triangles are being used to show texture. This also goes in the same layer as the red and the same layer as the custom stem color. All of this color should be added by using the marker tool. You're welcome to adjust the size. If you think it can be bigger and that will help it go faster, that's fine. But once you start getting out of the lines, you know that you probably need to bring that size back down. I got out of the lines a little bit here. Like you can see my custom color got into the red. I'm not super worried about that. I can go back over that area with the same red 500. All right, so just choose the regular white from your palette and color in all of the polka dots. If you get out of the lines, go back to your red 500 and just clean it up. And then switch back to the white. And you're going to go through and make sure that you color in each of these polka dots. And again, this goes in the same layer as all of your base colors. The red 500, the custom color of the mushroom stem, the custom color of the underneath part of the mushroom, and this white all go in the same layer, which is our color layer, right underneath line. So it goes, right now we only have the 3 layers. It goes line work is the first one on top, then regular color layer, and then the drawing of the mushroom, which should be turned off. Main color layer is complete. Add another layer, select the line work, bring the line work on top. So you should have line work, empty layer, and main color, and then the initial drawing. Select that empty layer. This is for tints and shades. Click custom. We're going to pick a custom dark red for your shade. A shade is when you add a color that's darker. It's like a step darker or several steps darker from the original color. We're making a switch. Bring your opacity all the way down to 1, and then your size should be in the 90s or even all the way up to 100. Make sure that that empty layer is selected and that it's positioned in this way. You can see my shade is on the left. Now I'm going to show you how I did it. So you have to go back and forth and keep that marker tool selected the whole time. And that dark tone is going to layer up over the initial color. So opacity being really low means that this is super see-through. So we're able to use it like shading, and it looks kind of like a ghost layer when you look at it. So by going back and forth, the more that you layer it on there, the more you see that dark shade. So we do want to see that dark shade. Now select the light red. It's another custom color. It's in the assignment in Schoology. So you might have to go back and forth to make sure that you've got these custom colors. And this is going to go in the middle. So I'm just staying in the middle with the marker tool. I didn't change anything. The opacity is still at 1 and the size is still at 90 or 100. And when I stay in the middle, and I've gone over it a bunch of times, that is what makes it look like a highlight. Okay, now we're going to do a brown tone so that we can get this shade on the lower part of the mushroom. So we're going to pick this custom dark brown. The color is in Schoology if you can't see it here. And we're staying in this tints and shades layer. So we're going to do this in this underneath mushroom area. And you really want to layer it up so that it looks like a shadow. We're going to do that on both sides of the mushroom stem. So I went forward a little bit in the recording so it wouldn't take so long, but you can definitely see it. All right, the highlights are going to be regular white, and we're going to put that regular white highlight right in the very middle of the stem and right in the middle of the underneath area. Okay, so this is what the layers should look like if you did it correctly. You're going to be showing me your layers when I return to prove it. So they need to be correct. Line work, tints and shades, looks like a ghost see-through layer, and then your regular color. You can always go back and make changes too. So we're going to save that as image, and it's going to save it as a Canvas file. You do that by pressing the three dots in the upper right, save as image, saves to your Chromebook as a Canvas file. This is what my saved file looks like. And then you need to submit that to Digital Mushroom Drawing Formative in Schoology. When I get back, I'm going to be checking your layers.